Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Q&A. Hashtag Ask Dr. Janine. So glad to have you all here today. Please say hello and where you are streaming in from. I would love to know who's here for the first time. We had a bunch of new followers who streamed in yesterday, and it's so nice to meet you all, which is amazing. Every time we have our live show, which of course is Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's when we talk about a bunch of new topics every week. That is the Dr. Janine Show. Today's sort of like the after show, and I answer your questions. I can't always get to everybody's questions during the live show on Tuesdays, so this is your opportunity to ask away. So ask some questions if you've got them. There we go. Hello, please let me. Okay, good. I see myself. Oh, it's not as I thought it was going to be. I have to flip it this way. Okay, I know if you're here for the first time. So put a 1 in the comments if you're here for the first time. Let me know where you're from. I am Mari Kit in Maui. Aloha. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in today. And remember, we'll be focusing in on questions based on yesterday's show. Yes, Darko's Mama. We did talk about castor oil. Absolutely. For cysts is something that is very effective. We know that castor oil penetrates very deeply into the tissues and increases that anti-inflammatory response. It's a natural analgesic as well. And it's that ricinoleic acid in the castor oil, which is amazing. So castor oil is something that we talked about in yesterday's show. So please make sure that if you do have castor oil questions, now is your time to ask them right now. Hello, Chili Dog in Yorkshire Island. Nice to see you. Aries Bay in Jamaica. Hello and good afternoon. And can kids do castor oil packs? Yes, absolutely. I mean, always checking with your practitioner if there's a specific medical condition happening. But yes, castor oil packs, great for the entire family, which is amazing. Candy Girl 6669 is asking about Ozempic and insulin resistance and fatty liver. Okay, so there are, and I have talked about this in different posts when we talk about Ozempic. I don't comment specifically on, different specific things that are out there, of course, but at the same time, if I've not prescribed it, then, and you're not my patient, of course, I'm not commenting on things, but there are a number of negative side effects and cautions that go along with that injectable for insulin resistance. And of course, it is a diabetes drug. Now it's used sort of off-label for major weight loss, as we've seen a lot of the celebrities taking Ozempic. Big concerns with thyroid health. It has a box warning according to the FDA, so that's something that people have to be aware of. With that particular injectable, there are more natural ways, of course, to balance your blood glucose levels and to address fatty liver as well, which is something that we talked about yesterday. So fixing that leptin resistance, number one, really, really important. If you don't know what leptin resistance is, make sure that you check out my content. That's really important to get that, under control first. Natural sunlight exposure, super important for your leptin signaling, all of your circadian rhythms. It's something that I talk a lot about in my social media posts. A lot of people simply are not aware of these topics. I've written my 3rd book now, which is due to be launched very soon, so stay tuned for that. Please make sure that you're using the hashtag AskDrJanine. Make sure you're following me, and thank you for the follows. I know a lot of people will stream in for the first time, and you're like, what are we talking about here? So this is all about yesterday's show, which is the Dr. Janine Show. We talk all about natural health topics, and we focus in a lot on this guy. So let me grab it. Weight loss and balancing our metabolism, balancing our hormone levels, super important. And leptin resistance is a big part of this, as well as our insulin signaling. We also talked yesterday about fatty liver, so I've got my fatty liver here, and liver health, and this is why, some of these injectable drugs can compromise your internal organ health. Always getting at the root cause as to why you may have insulin issues, and usually you get the leptin issue first before you get the insulin and the insulin resistance. It's usually the leptin resistance first. That's something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago in the show when we talked about osteocalcin and how that regulates what's happening with your blood glucose levels and your insulin secretion in your liver, but also that's tied back to your leptin signaling and your bone health. I know, if you missed that show, go look back a couple of weeks. You can always, in the search bar, just search, osteocalcin with my name in the longer form video format, and you can find the show from, I believe it was 2 weeks ago when we talked about that whole length. Okay, thoughts on NMN supplements? Don't like them. if you learn about the backstory about those, it's a little bit shady. So in my opinion, don't like them. Okay, as well, that's a great question though. So thank you you're the first person that I think that has asked that. Kara Ota 123. So great question. Thank you, Mrs. Kemfail? For the follow, thank you for following. Thanks for tuning in for the first time today. If you are new here, Gray Munzi, is asking about Hashimoto's muscle and joint pain. Yes, very, very common. You fix the leptin signaling. So if you don't know what the leptin resistance is, please check out my content. You got to fix the leptin resistance. Really, really important. You've got to fix your relationship with the outside world, with nature, with the sunlight, the light and dark cycles of the day, your circadian rhythms, all of your circadian rhythms. So we have circadian clocks in all of our cells. And the clocks in our skin cells and in our eyes and in our brain and in our gut are all related. And those clocks need to be synced. When your clocks are out of whack, one clock is saying one time, another clock is saying another time. This is what causes disease and inflammation in the body. That's why the joint pain happens. That's why, and with vitamin D deficiency as well, when you're never seeing the sunlight, you're always slapping on the sunscreen and the sunglasses. Not a healthy thing, okay? These are the things that I'm talking about in my next book, which is, of course, due to launch very soon. Jerry, hello, and good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for sharing. I think Jerry just shared like 20 times. And Hajar Lazri just shared, I think, 5, 10, 15 times. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for everybody who's here today for the first time. Put a 1 in the comments if you're here for the first time. And of course, thank you for tuning in. It's always great to be here on a Wednesday now in this time slot at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the hashtag Ask Dr. Janine. This is a Q&A with me. Ask away. I know I've been talking a lot. This is something that definitely ask me your questions. Okay, so questions about chronic nosebleeds doesn't stop. I mean, this is something that always needs to be investigated with your practitioner. Vitamin C deficiency is something that commonly is a cause for, and it could be vitamin K as well, a common cause of chronic nosebleeds. Okay, so that's important, but always get it checked. Of course, it could be something a little bit more serious. You've got to get that checked with your practitioner. Elizabeth, nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. And Dagima, hello. Nice to see you. Good afternoon. And okay, so Kenna is asking about the castor oil with essential oils, or can you use it by yourself? Both. I use it both ways. So I love castor oil on its own, which is amazing. I mean, anti-inflammatory, helps when you're doing the castor oil pack for that detoxification, helps with menstrual cramps, helps to bring in blood flow. So that's part of the way that it helps as detoxifying, because it's bringing in blood flow and your immunity. So some of the research now shows that it actually helps with your immune system and your white blood cells, which is amazing. So this is something that, yeah, you can use it on its own, and you can also always look for one, if you can, in a glass bottle, and one that doesn't smell. So a good castor oil is a hexane-free one, and it shouldn't smell. I've used some that I didn't really like the smell. It should smell clean. It shouldn't smell like sort of a kind of a, I don't know how to describe it, but the one that I used, that I purchased, it was on sale. I'm like, oh, it's in a glass bottle, great. No, didn't like it. So if it smells a bit off, then I wouldn't recommend it. So sometimes you got to experiment a little bit with your castor oils to find a good one, which is amazing. Okay, amazing, amazing. And is it safe to use around a wound for wound healing? That is something that I've always recommended castor oil on closed skin, not necessarily on open skin. It's not to say that you wouldn't be able to use it on open skin, but I usually recommend castor oil on closed skin. As well as other herbal medicines. They're usually not recommended on open, like arnica, for instance, as the homeopathic, not to use on open skin. You have to heal from the inside out. As we know, the skin grows from the inside out. So I prefer castor oil on closed skin. Thank you for the follows, Ochese. Did I say that right? And Nancy O'Connell, yes. Is castor oil great for thyroid problems? Yes, absolutely. So you can actually do castor oil packs on the thyroid to help with bringing that that blood flow, which is amazing. And castor oil is known to help with growths and cysts and things too. So using that topically, amazing, because it has that anti-inflammatory effect, but also bringing that blood flow, helping to stimulate the immune system in a good way as well, and helps with hair growth, as we know. So if you missed yesterday's show, we made the eyelash serum. So we can bring up that recipe. If anybody missed it, you can definitely, okay, we have it already behind me. Awesome. So take a look at this if you missed this yesterday. So this is something that I love to mix up. It's amazing for your eyelashes. You can use the excess after you've rubbed it, on the eyelashes. You can use it on your eyebrows. You can rub it into the hairline for hair growth. Amazing. So you're using some vitamin E. You're going to squeeze open and squeeze the contents of 2 capsules, 400 international units of vitamin E, into a little glass dish. You're going to use your castor oil, your sweet almond oil, and the coconut oil, the liquid kind. And then you can put it into these little mascara wand tubey things. You don't have to do that. You could leave it in a glass container, which I actually prefer to have it in a little glass container. Then you can just, dip a Q-tip type of thing in and apply that to your lashes at bedtime. Amazing, amazing for lash growth, and definitely all safe. Okay. Yes, so for fungal issues with castor oil, absolutely. Applying it, no problem. And it will work. Tea tree, a combination of tea tree with the castor oil is very effective, and colloidal silver as well. And sunlight exposure can really help with fungus and nail fungus types of issues. And okay, so injections. There's a lot of questions coming in about injections for weight loss. I don't believe it's the right way to go. I mean, losing weight has to do a lot with your environment, of course, your diet, your exercise, or lack thereof. So getting in sync, having proper sleep, getting your circadian rhythms in sync, fixing your leptin signaling, fixing your leptin resistance, getting back out into nature, seeing that early morning sunlight, syncing your clocks. So our clocks on our skin and our eyes and all of our internal organs need to be synced with the sunlight, the light and dark cycles of the day. This is really, really important for proper weight loss, and that's what helps with, of course, the leptin signaling as well. So that is really important. Okay, Dora's asking, how much tea tree, castor oil, colloidal for fungal issues? Okay, so castor oil, usually a couple tablespoons of castor oil into a glass dish. I would do 10 drops of tea tree and probably 10 to 15 drops of the colloidal silver into that mix, and then apply that on the nails. Or on, if there's a fungal issue on the skin as well, great combination for that. And more sun. You need more sunlight to kill off the fungus, okay? And fixing the gut microbiome as well. So you have to fix from the inside. So as much as you do things topically, doing a good, you've heard me talk about Cabo. So cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano. So Cabo, those 4 herbal medicines in combination is something that I take, as a preventative. I just recently traveled and picked up a little bit of something, I don't know, but taking that, preventatively, but acutely as well, if you've got something going on with your microbiome, is very, very effective at killing off those bad guys, getting your microbiome back into normal working condition and order. And then, of course, using probiotics as well is amazing to make sure that you've got that balance happening. Thank you for the shares, Hajar. Thank you so much. I see that happening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And eczema can have a fungal component, so that's a great question coming in. We've got so we had a psoriasis mix that we did in last week's show. You can look that up. I don't know if we can pull up that. We're going to find that recipe for specifically psoriasis, eczema. It's a different combination of essential oils, which is amazing topically for the skin as well. Now remember, psoriasis, eczema, from the inside out, you got to fix that microbiome. You've got to sync your clocks to nature. You've got to decrease that overall inflammation in the body. You got to fix the leptin signaling. So these are all, they all are part and parcel to getting your body back in sync with nature. Hey, being under blue lights on screens all day, not good. That's why I wear the blue light blocking glasses whenever I can, when I'm under artificial light on a screen. Really, really important. And okay, so yes, when we're dealing with our microbiome, killing fungal issues from the inside, candida issues from the inside, Cabo. So that's my best combination. My team behind the scenes can maybe help to give you more specifics in terms of something to look for helping with that issue. Okay, psoriasis, here we go, the essential oil blend that I love. So coconut oil, You could use castor oil here too. Depending on where you're putting it, could be a little bit thick, but in this case, coconut oil is antifungal as well, and specifically helps with the psoriasis. The tea tree oil, peppermint oil, and lavender essential oil. So those are all the essential oils of tea tree, peppermint, and lavender. Those are going into that mix, and apply that, and again, keep it in a glass container whenever you can, but a great combination of the essential oils to help with the psoriasis, dry skin, scalp, and all these things, which is amazing. Great to have you here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. Hey, if you're here for the first time, this is at hashtag Ask Dr. Janine. It's a Q&A. It's a follow-up to yesterday's show. Every Tuesday, we have the Dr. Janine show at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure that you tune in next week. There's a different set of topics every single week. What are we talking about next week? You guys have to jog my memory. Oh yes, vitamin D. So now in a lot of parts of, where a lot of people are living here in Canada anyways, now we can actually finally make vitamin D again from the natural sunlight exposure. It is limited, but at the same time, very good. And that is something that is amazing. So we'll be talking about vitamin D and why we should not wear sunglasses. Okay, everybody put sunglass emojis. If you're brave enough to admit to the fact that you wear sunglasses on your eyes in the sun all the time, put the sunglass emojis into the comments. I want to see how many people we're going to enlighten next week in the Dr. Janine show about the sunglasses and the whole thing about skin issues and aging and anti-aging. And okay, L, I see, lab, I see. Oh yeah, KG has got the sunglasses on. Now, it's okay to wear the sunglasses for fashion, of course, like this on your head, but not so much on your eyes. It can cause a lot of health problems. Diva Organic, I'm shocked. You're wearing the sunglasses? Oh no. Linda Hoffman, Malak, Will Ashford always wear sunglasses. Okay, there's a lot of misinformation about what is happening with eye health, with our hormonal health, with wearing sunglasses. And it's not just me saying it. Oh my goodness, Giovanni, Music Addicts. Hello, Claire. Saladin, nice to see you. J-Glow Beauty and Wellness is wearing sunglasses. Elizabeth, oh my goodness, Naomi, everybody in Chicago. Naomi, nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. See you, Young. JDV is asking about with styes. Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to come back to that. Peggy, Mari, everybody's wearing sunglasses. Oh no, okay, please make sure that you tune into next week's show. Why you may not. And Monica's wearing, Gloria's wearing, Martina is wearing sunglasses. Is it Chelfrey is wearing sunglasses as well. A lot of people with sunglasses. Okay, put a 2 in the comments if you don't wear sunglasses anymore after learning from Dr. Janine. Okay, put a 2 in the comments, please. There has to be somebody else. Okay, Jerry, of course, Jerry. Yes, thank you, Jerry. Yes, one more, Val, Anastasia. Good job. Okay, Flo Lender. Okay, Jilly Bean, Busy, okay, I've got a lot of followers. Kath Rig, Memoride, 2, Kathy Marie, Rula. Okay, there's my peeps. There's my peeps. Okay, you guys are here. Uncia, yes. Okay, no more sunglasses. Dagima, awesome. Amber. No more sunglasses. Okay, this is good. Okay, so I've had a bit of an influence on some of you, and you're going to learn more next week, so make sure you tune in on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Dr. Janine Show. We're talking about why no sunglasses. If you've not yet seen my posts, you can look this up between now and then. I'll be expanding on a little bit about why no sunglasses and why it's so important to get natural sunlight in your eyes. It regulates your thyroid, it regulates your liver health, it regulates your brain chemistry, your moods. It helps you to make your own natural sunscreen on your skin by getting natural sunlight in your eyes. Hey, if you're covering your eyes, you're not getting that proper relationship with your outside world and, of course, with the environment and with the sun and your circadian rhythms, and that's going to offset a lot of things in your health, cause a lot of inflammation. It's going to be a big problem for you. Okay, thank you. So eczema, we just talked about that. Vina, if you're just tuning in now, look at the recipe. This is something that we shared in last week's show on the the Doctor Janine show, which of course is Tuesdays at 11 a.m. So the eczema protocol recipe was, this is what you do topically. Now, of course, we've got to do things internally as well, which is something we should probably cycle back to in the show. I think maybe on Tuesday we'll come back to that. Coconut oil, tea tree oil, peppermint essential oil, and lavender essential oil. So that combination, amazing for using topically on eczema, but you've got to deal with it from the inside out. What does that mean? Cleaning up the gut microbiome. Eating real food, no processed food, limiting the sugar, really important for eczema, psoriasis as well, fixing the leptin resistance because there's a chronic inflammation. Your skin should clear up. More natural sunlight exposure is going to do this as well, but your skin should clear up within, a couple of weeks. If there's something that's persistent, then you know that there's something, a deeper issue happening, and maybe that light exposure is really messing you up. That blue light, if you're on screens and you're indoors all day, you don't have a window open, that is going to really mess up your skin and your skin barrier function. Of course, optimizing your DHA levels, so eating more seafood, super important to get more of that DHA in. Taking a high-quality fish oil supplement, really important. Bunny, Lulu, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in from India. You are so amazing. Thank you to all the love coming in as well. I see everybody who's double tapping their screen or hitting the likes and the hearts and all those things and the gifts coming in. Thank you so much. Everybody's so generous here. I love doing the Q&As. It's so great to be able to connect, of course, with everyone who's here today. Hello, Anna. Eczema in toddlers, yes, so everything that I just said for treating eczema, true for the children as well. I used to have so many kids in my practice that thankfully I could help my patients, and the parents, they're always so thankful when, these chronic skin issues in their kids clear up. And it's not hard, it's not rocket science, but you got to do the right things, and you have to feed these microbiomes and with the probiotics and doing a kill phase to kill off some of the bad things that can be in the gut. Antibiotics sort of work against a healthy skin set, and often what I've seen with kids who have a chronic ear infection or they've got something going on, some kind of, and they, they go and they get antibiotics for whatever reason, and then that's what starts that whole snowball effect of their skin becoming unhealthy, and it is unfortunate. And a lot of what mainstream medicine will do is actually suppress on the skin level with the steroid creams and the things will actually push what is the body is trying to detox through the eczema out the skin. They are pushing it back in with the steroid cream, so the skin looks better. But what's the next thing that manifests? Well, now asthma, lung conditions. It's crazy. So this is something, because the skin and the lungs are very much related. So this is something that, from a more preventative, natural standpoint, we want to treat from the inside out. We want to look at what are the causative factors. Hey, is it the toxic detergent that you're using that's causing the eczema? Is it a contact dermatitis? Is there too many chemicals in the house? With cleaning products, like what is happening with this, especially in children, this child who is now reacting to what's going on in their environment. So you've got to clean things up. Definitely detox is a big part of this as well. Cleaning up the microbiome, using the topicals that I talk about, which is amazing. And you can see these things disappear for good. And more sun. More sun. You need more sun, okay? Natural sunlight exposure clears up eczema pretty quick without sunscreen, okay? So, doing it in a safe way, limited amounts of natural sunlight exposure is actually anti-aging. It's not aging the skin. If you do it right, you're actually getting a lot of benefits from natural sunlight exposure. It's anti-aging. It is not pro-aging. And the reason, and I know this firsthand, and I'm going to tell you, is that when I went to one of the blue zones, I'm going to just tell this question really quickly, I know because more questions are coming in. Went to one of the blue zones and spoke with the centenarians and met these beautiful people. And centenarians are people that live, over the age of 100, and there's a big group of them. And that's why they were studied in the blue zones, which happen to be close to the equator, a lot of sunlight exposure for each of the blue zones in the world. And so we went to see Pachito, and at the time, Pachito was 103 years old, soon to be 104 years old, rode his horse, when he was a little bit younger, like into his, I think, 90s. He was still riding his horse every day, wore a hat, so a wide brim hat, but no sunscreen. This man did not have wrinkles, okay? And I looked at his skin, and I kept staring at his skin because, how is this possible? This guy is 103 years old, he has no wrinkles. And made me do my research. And yeah, the sun is so healing. It actually builds your collagen. It goes against, I know, whatever you've heard about the sun is so damaging. No, I do things differently, and I see the benefits of that myself, and have helped a lot of people with that. So doing it in the right way, I'm not saying to go fry yourself in the sun, but doing things in the right way with natural sunlight exposure can do a lot for your own beauty and for longevity, which is amazing. Okay, so question, Garden Moose, about the cataracts and floaters in the eyes. Maybe there was a question that came up a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if we can find it. And okay, we're trying to just scroll back a little bit because I missed a bunch of questions there when I was talking. Okay, but for cataracts and of course, and floaters, DHA is one of the first things. So when you're talking about, actually ingesting things, there's a few things, and which I actually mentioned in yesterday's show. I think we talked about it, didn't we? For whatever reason, a question came up yesterday in the live show. So DHA, so that is seafood. I take a high DHA fish oil supplement, as well as lutein and zeaxanthin, carrots, ribes nigrum. So there's a bunch of herbal medicines plus carrots. Yes, it can be reversed. 100%. I used to have floaters. Absolutely can be reversed. And I have a lot of anecdotal stories, reviews from people that have been able to take that combination, specifically with the lutein and the zeaxanthin, and be able to reverse things. And their eye doctors are asking, okay, what are you taking? I mean, yeah, there are eye vitamins out there, but this is something different, this different combination. My friends behind the scene, Team Doctor Janine, will help to, if you're looking specifically for that formulation, they're going to help you behind the scenes to fill that in for you. But amazing, amazing. Hey, and if you're in Canada and you happen to be watching television tonight, I'm going to be talking about it tonight on TV. So yeah, tonight, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And for cataracts as well, yeah, for clearing up the vision in the lens, absolutely, absolutely. So you've got to do it right. You've got to be consistent with it. So your DHA, your fish oil, plus, of course, that combination of the herbs plus the lutein and zeaxanthin, which comes from a plant, in this case, from the African marigold plant. And that really helps to protect the macula at the back of the eye, especially from blue light. That's why I wear the blue light blocking glasses, is because of all of the artificial lights. Looking at screens all day, very damaging. And you've got to get some very natural light, so natural sunlight in your eyes. Very healing to your eyes, okay, which is so important. Amazing to see you all. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for sharing today's live as well. I know that you are going to continue to put your questions in, and thank you. Styes in the eyes. Okay, so JDV, I know you're asking about styes in the eyes. Okay, so there is research, JDV, as well, about the sun and cataracts, that the blue light is much more damaging to the lens of the eye compared to, and it's called cataractogenic. So it's one of the studies that I shared in my show, I think 3 weeks ago, in terms of the difference between blue light and natural sunlight and UV, and the effects on the lens of the eye and at the back of the eye, so the macula of the eye. So that has been found now that the blue light from our screens is much more damaging. Much more damaging. It goes right to the back of the eye, whereas UV only penetrates a little ways of the way into the eye, which does hit the lens, absolutely. So you don't want to be scorching your eyes. I'm not saying to do that, but at the same time, getting more natural sunlight in your eyes it clears up your vision. I mean, there's nothing that works faster than some natural sunlight in your eyes, which is amazing. And for the castor oil, Tom is asking, castor oil on the eyelids at night. Absolutely, yes, I do that. I like that. I believe there's no studies that show that it works, but there's a lot of, again, anecdotal evidence that show that it is super helpful. Thank you. Oh, Jazzy Girl 999, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I love doing this. So many nice comments. You guys are the best. SPF, there was a question. Good or bad for the skin? Peachy Lee 161. SPF, if it doesn't have any chemicals in it, can be helpful if you're going to be in the sunlight for a prolonged amount of time. This is one of the things that I'm writing about in my book, is that, I don't know if you can tell, I have a little bit of a tan because we were away, but trying not to use sunscreen is the way to go. Your body will build its own sunscreen, actually thicken your skin a little bit by getting that natural sunlight exposure first thing in the morning through your eyes onto your skin. Tells your brain the right signaling to protect your skin. Now, if you're going to be outside and you haven't been outside for a while, like us being closed in Canada and going on a sunny vacation, you might need a little bit of sunscreen if you want to be outside all day, right? Or you're going to cover up, put clothes on, go into the shade, but natural sunscreen. So I actually have a recipe for that. You can search it up on, the different platforms. Just go in the search bar, Dr. Janine, Bowring, natural sunscreen recipe. You're going to find it. It works amazing. Oh, we have it. Oh my goodness. You guys are the best. Okay, a little clap to my friends behind the scenes. My team behind the scenes is awesome. Okay, so I mix this up myself. I bring it every time I travel and go somewhere sunny. This is what I use on my skin, and I use it for the kids as well. Okay, so 3/4 of a tablespoon of the zinc oxide, and you can purchase this online, non-nano. Make sure it's non-nano. 6 dropperfuls of carrot seed oil, which has a natural SPF of 35 to 40. So yeah, a lot of high antioxidant status there. Carrot seed oil. You get all of these either online or I buy them at the health food store. The zinc oxide I did have to purchase online. 6 dropperfuls of the raspberry seed oil, which has an SPF naturally of 25 to 50, a 1/4 cup of shea butter, which is an SPF of 6 to 10, a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, which is an SPF of 4 to 6, and 2 tablespoons of jojoba oil. You're going to mix that. Depending on how cold the temperature is, you may have to mix it. So I use a whisk in a bowl and mix until it all melts down. And then I put that into ideally a glass jar, but it was confiscated when I went to Mexico on one trip, so my glass jar, so put it in plastic if you have to travel with it. And I was so sad, but luckily it was at the end of the trip coming back to Canada, so I had already used it. But I was just sad that my whole batch of my natural sunscreen was taken. So anyways, but if you put it in a little plastic, again, under 100 mils bottle and carry that with you, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it doesn't leave that white cast on the skin. Which is amazing. So it rubs right in. It's very healing and soothing to the skin, very moisturizing, because especially if it's windy and sunny, that's something that is great. So I hope you use this recipe. I know a lot of people do now, and thank you. And everybody who's here today. Nice to see you. Okay, so fatty liver and using castor oil. Was it a castor oil pack? I'm guessing. Using a castor oil pack had a detox reaction. Okay, so this is for the person who's never really detoxed before. Maybe you've got, internal toxicity issues and things have built up, and maybe you even have fatty liver that's been diagnosed. You gotta go slow. You go low and slow. So you put the castor oil, in this case, if you've had that reaction, once, don't try to push yourself the next time. Make sure you're fully hydrated. Make sure that you're having proper bowel movements. Make sure that you may want to sort of team this up, doing the castor oil externally, but also doing a full body detox internally with the herbal medicines to help to make sure that you're pushing things along in terms of that toxic load through the organs, all the organ systems at once, and the lymphatics and the blood all at the same time, very gently. You got to go low, go slow. If you've had any type of Herxheimer reaction, detox reaction from doing a castor oil pack, it's an indication that you've got a lot of toxicity. You got some work to do. But the good news is now you know that, and now you can really, fine tune. And this would be a great time to send an email to my team. I don't know if we can pull that up really quickly on protocols. Do we have that email? Can we bring it up really quickly? Okay, it's coming. Here we go. hello@vitatree.com. So just send an email about protocols and things to the team here, and they'll be able to answer those questions and maybe sort of ease you into a protocol that's very, very gentle to be able to use that. But it is an indication that you're doing the right thing. I mean, you're definitely doing the right thing by asking your body to, gently get rid of these toxins, but you've got to go low and slow. Okay, so that is great. Nice to see you. Thank you. Laura Kaufman's asking about keratosis pilaris. Yes, I have a number of videos on that. Often it can be related to, a DHA deficiency, vitamin C deficiency. So DHA means more seafood, more natural. Sunlight exposure as well is so important. Thank you for all those 100% coming in. I see that. Awesome. Thank you so much. And Yeah, so you definitely want to make sure that you're optimizing your levels, especially of vitamin C, which as humans, we don't, of course, make vitamin C. Some animals do, but we don't. So this is something that we lost that through our evolutionary processing, that we definitely have to make sure that we get enough vitamin C from the outside. However, you don't want to be drinking orange juice, and this is something that if you know my content, you know that I talk about leptin resistance and fructose and fatty liver and spiking your blood glucose levels and all these things. Not a good thing. So you want to get it from natural whole food sources, but you got to watch the fruits a little bit. So seafood does have some natural vitamin C, sometimes not enough. So if you really have to optimize the vitamin C levels, if you're depleted, you're going through a lot of stress for whatever reason, then sometimes taking a whole food supplement that has things like acerola cherries, camu berries, may be a way to bring your levels up with that vitamin C, and not in a synthetic form, because most of the vitamin C in the market, of course, is ascorbic acid. It's made from genetically modified corn, and not the way to go, in my opinion. Okay, Realtor Lydia, love this question. Does castor oil work for facial wrinkles? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So that's something that you can apply at bedtime. You can put it on during the day. I mean, if you wear makeup or not, that's going to be a factor as well. But definitely make sure that, yeah, you're using the castor oil. I love it. I love to, so on my face and on my joints, I like to, I'll just get FYI, this is what I do. I make a mixture of a bit of castor oil and some frankincense. So I usually, rub that on my knees just as a preventative at bedtime. And then the excess, I will put a little bit, on eyebrows and on eyelids. I'm okay with the frankincense. Some people aren't so good with the frankincense around the eyes. I'm okay just because I don't put very much and it's very diluted. And then, of course, on the crow's feet, and if you have any wrinkles, then I rub it excess on my neck. So I love castor oil. That's it's right beside my bed. It's my bedtime routine. I love castor oil. I would probably shower in it if I could. And it's amazing for the hair, as we know, and for the eyelashes. We made our eyelash serum yesterday, so if you missed it, with the castor oil, we made, of course, the eyelash serum recipe yesterday. So if anybody wants to see that recipe, again, just call for it in the comments, and we'll put it on the screen behind me. Okay. Castor oil, what's the difference between expeller and cold pressed? It should always be cold pressed. Expeller pressed, just... I don't think it's the same thing, Mender Mom. I don't know if one of my team members can actually just search that up real quick. Expeller pressed. I've always seen cold pressed because you want it to be processed in a cold environment. I wouldn't imagine that the expeller pressing would be in a hot environment, but cold pressed is the way to go. Can I replace SPF with castor oil? I would prefer the entire combination. I think you need more of a physical block than using castor oil as an SPF. So my sunscreen recipe that we just had up here would be something that I would be more comfortable with because it's got the physical block of the zinc, the non-nano zinc oxide in there, if that makes sense. Okay, yes, you want to see the eyelash serum. Okay, we're going to bring that up. So mixing up the eyelash serum. This was from yesterday's show, so if you missed it, it's funny, I was working out this morning, and one of the ladies in the class that I know and have known her for a year, she's like, oh, I was listening to your show from yesterday on my way home yesterday, and I want to make the eyelash serum. I thought that was so cute. She said, yeah, it was so great. I love your show. I love your show. So this is fantastic. So mix this up. You can see this behind me. You're going to use some vitamin E, castor oil, sweet almond oil, and a teaspoon of coconut oil. You're going to mix that up, and then you can keep it in a glass container or keep it in, I just bought these little mascara type of tubey things, and you're going to take off the excess. So here's the thing. This is way too much on here if you're going to apply this, and I like to do it at bedtime, so cleanse your face and your eyes and get off all your makeup and everything. And castor oil, I'm just going to say, when it gets in your eyes, it's quite goopy, just like other oils. So just be aware that if you plan on reading before bed after applying this, may not be the easiest thing to do because it is a bit goopy, and that's okay. It's good to just do this right before you go to sleep. You're going to close your eyes, and it can affect your vision in a blurry kind of way if you apply too much. So you see how I'm taking off the excess of all of that. It's way too much on here, so that will help you to prolong, how much volume you have of your lash serum. take off all that excess, and then you can just apply it to your lashes. Now, alternatively, if you're going to mix it and keep it in a glass container, which is a little bit better actually, you can just dip like a sort of, I spin down the Q-tip, the fuzzy part of the Q-tip, I spin it down. Sometimes with a little bit of water. We know oil and water don't mix, and then you're just going to dip that just to keep it nice and clean. Make sure you have clean hands, anything that you're using near your eyes, of course. And then you can just sort of dab it over your lashes, kind of rub it into especially the base of the lashes. That's where it's going to have that, bringing in the blood flow to help with your lashes. And then you can use the excess of this even, around your eyes, crow's feet, and things if you want, a bit on your lips. I mean, it's amazing, okay? Yes, yes, yes. Cold press retains more of the active components, yeah. Natural antioxidants in the castor oil versus expeller pressed is, okay, so expeller pressed does create a bit of heat in the expelling process. Is that right? The right English? Okay, so cold pressed is going to be better. Okay, because they're using pressure for a cavity with pressure. So yeah, through that, yeah. So you want cold pressed for the castor oil. That was a great question. Thank you, because we had to look it up ourselves. See, we're all learning together, which is amazing. Here on the Q&A with Ask Dr. Janine. Great to have you all here. Thank you for everybody who tuned in today. It's so amazing to connect with you. Of course, we do this every Wednesday at this time, and I see all those hearts coming in. Thank you so much. It's so amazing. So make sure you tune in on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And use that hashtag Ask Dr. Janine. Now, don't forget on Tuesdays, of course, we have our show, the Dr. Janine Show. That's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. So please make sure that you're tuning in. It was so great to connect with all of you today. And stay tuned. I mean, make sure that you're following me. Thank you for all my new followers who tuned in today. Make sure that you are definitely, connected with me, because the launch of my new book is coming very soon. Hey, if you're in Canada, I'm on television tonight for the next few days, so check me out there. If you do have questions about, some of the protocols that we talk about, or some of the products sometimes that we talk about, please send an email to the team, hello@vitatree.com. They're the big sponsor, of course, and the sponsor of the Dr. Janine Show, and of course, the Ask Dr. Janine on Wednesdays. It was so great to connect with you all today. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. So have a great few days. Make sure you continue to comment and take a look at all my content, and we will see you next week. Okay, we'll see you then. Bye.